so excited for this video. I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk about wigs and put some wigs on and just have a fun little wig chat with you today. Next to me here, I have a whole pile of wigs that we're going to talk about. And I've also got my notes because I'm new at this YouTube thing. But yeah, I'm very excited to just hang out with you and talk about wigs. I have a lot of things I want to talk about, so this might be a very long video, but hopefully you enjoy it. So the question that kind of started this idea of this little chat is, what classifies a wig to be a good wig? And as I was thinking about this, I went through the list of the different things that I would consider would make a good wig. And then I realized that we really should get a good definition of good wig, bad wig, and a great wig. So what I've done is I have taken all of my knowledge, all of my experience, seeing different name brands, different types of wigs, different constructions of wigs, and I have created like a 3-level tier to wigs. So we've got our lower level, our mid-level, and our high-level wigs. Lower level wigs I'm classifying as, your cheap costume synthetic wigs. I have one here, and yes, she is bright green. But it is a great representation of what I would consider to be a low-level wig. Something like this, even if it's not bright green, you could find on Amazon, eBay, Facebook for like $30, and it's not great. First and foremost, you're going to notice that the hair texture feels very much like straw. It's stringy, it's plasticky, it's stiff, and I can just tell that this is going to tangle and frizz and matte and be completely unmanageable after like one wear. Aside from the hair, because sometimes cheap wigs have hair that feels really good, even though it is really not good hair, they often coat the hair with, and when I say they, I mean the manufacturers, but the manufacturers will often coat the hair with some sort of silicone coating to, give it that first impression of, oh, this is really nice hair. But that silicone is just a band-aid on the fact that it's really not great hair. Human or synthetic, that process is done. One of the giveaways that I know if a wig is on that lower level tier or a really cheap wig, aside from the price point, is how it was constructed on the inside. What you'll notice with cheaper wigs is the inside is just really low quality mesh that does not feel comfortable to have on your head all day long. You'll also notice that the wefts are very few and far between. In this section right here, we have 1, 2, 3 wefts of hair, whereas a higher quality wig, you're gonna have more of that wefting. The downside to having such few wefts is that you can see the cap through it if you were to do any sort of styling, which we don't want. We don't want to be able to see the cap in there if we were to lift up that hair in any sort of fashion. Also looking at it, there is no defined scalp on the top. You just have a bundle of hair. Lower tiered wigs look like wigs. These are the wigs that you only wear once. You only wear for fun. You wear these wigs if you want people to know that you're wearing a wig, or if you just, it's a Halloween party or something and you just need your hair to be a different color. That is the only time I think that these lower tier wigs are good. For lack of better terms. They are cute. I mean, this curl is super cute, but it's only gonna stay like that for one wear before it just turns into a frizzy, matted, disgusting, tangled mess. I also think that wigs like this are really hot. I mentioned that the cap construction is not great, the materials used are not great, and it's going to be very hot. The front of it, there is no lace front on these wigs, so they have to have bangs. I don't know about you, but I don't love bangs. I don't love the feel of hair in my face. Very uncomfortable, especially if it's synthetic hair. It just is itchy and hot, sweaty. It's gross. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't even know how you're supposed to put this one on. Oh, the bangs tickle the nose. Oh my gosh, that is really bad. Oh, they're in my eyes. Okay, so you saw this wig on my hand. Didn't look that bad. But on my head, what do you think? It is very poofy. It feels, oh, I don't even know how to explain how it feels, but I don't like it. The bangs, don't really know where to go. I mean, I can work some wig magic and get them to go where I want them to go, but just putting it on my head, like, they're poking my eyeballs, they're itching my forehead, and I don't like that at all. There's no tabs on the sides, so I really can't even tell if this wig is on straight. It's just on my head. Yeah, there's just nothing much to say about this. This is what you're gonna get with $30. And if I were to continue to wear this, these ends, you can already tell that I can't comb through them. They would just continue to get worse and worse and worse. I don't think you could save this wig. Whew. It's nice to get that off my head. So that's kind of a summary of what I would consider to be a low-tier wig. They have their purposes, but they're definitely not for everyday use. Let's move on to a mid-level wig. I have worked with a lot of these wigs over the years. Most wig shops will be selling this type of wig. We've got a few different styles, a few different cap constructions. I'm going to show you my favorite first. Because like I said, there are some mid-level wigs that I really do like. This one is a synthetic wig, but I like it because it is hand-tied. It has a lace front and a monofilament part, so it's going to look like my scalp. I like mid-level wigs because they have tabs on the sides, so I know if my hair is on straight, and size adjusters in the back, so I can adjust it a little bit tighter, a little bit looser as needed. This definitely fits my head better. Feels better on the head. Looking at my little viewfinder here. I go back and forth with liking this cut. Some days I feel like it makes me look really good, and other days I feel like it makes me look like 20 years older. But it's all good. It's pretty easy to finger it, fix it up. I've got hair in my face. Tuck it behind the ears. So overall, it's not a bad wig. Like, look at that. Pretty cute, right? I like how it feels a lot better. But yeah, nothing too much to complain about with this wig, other than I know that over time, it's going to frizz around the ends. Wigs that are synthetic and touch your shoulders are going to frizz really, really fast because it's got that constant friction, which I don't love. I don't love frizz. Frizz can be treated, but it's just annoying. It's annoying to deal with frizz and tangling and matting. So I prefer human hair for that. But, you know, if I were to have a few synthetic ones just to switch through, I would not mind a mid-level synthetic wig. These are good wigs. They are great for a lot of people actually, but they're not great for everybody. I love how they look more natural than a low tier wig. They feel more natural than a low tier wig. This one is a synthetic, and it actually feels like hair in comparison to the last wig I was playing with. So when I consider a wig to be a good wig, it does four things for me. First, it looks natural. That is, the hair looks good. There's a lace front or good looking bangs to cover that. And there has to be some sort of faux scalp or monofilament top to create the illusion of a scalp. We want to have something that shows a little bit of scalp because that looks real. A good wig to me also has to be durable. It has to withstand daily wear. This is a really big factor when you are considering a mid-level wig versus a high tier level wig. I see a lot of wig influencers today that are promoting the mid-level wigs, which again is great. Those wigs are there for a reason. But what you don't see is that these influencers have a million wigs and they're going through wigs consistently. The brands are sending them wigs that they wear for, a couple of videos and then they have to send it back or whatever. So they'll tell you that these mid-level wigs are great, and they are, but they're not great enough for daily wear over a long period of time. These mid-level wigs can usually last you 6 months, maybe to a year. If it's a long synthetic wig, or even a heat-friendly wig, I would even give it like a 4-month lifespan if you're wearing it every day, even with proper care. And that's just because the materials being used, synthetic hair, is going to frizz, it is going to tangle, it is going to become a ratty, matted mess over time. That's just how the wigs are made. Another thing I found with these mid-level wigs is that they don't have the best lace construction. They all use what's called welded lace. So I will insert a picture of up close of welded lace because I don't think this will zoom in, but that's okay. But welded lace is where they take the little tiny fibers, they're like this, and they crisscross them and then use heat and pressure to bond those materials together. They might use some sort of adhesive or a coating on top of it, but what happens over time, especially with daily wear and tear, your oils on your scalp is going to break down that bond, and those fibers that have been woven together and pressed together, they will start to pop apart and they will fray, and it just keeps fraying down the wig. And there's nothing you can do about that. I have tried. I have been looking for all different options to figure out how to fix that problem and how to prevent it. And right now, there's not a good solution for it. But I am working on it because I do think it is important, because that is the number one thing I hear with these mid-level wigs is that the lace wears down before the hair does. That goes for human hair, synthetic, heat-friendly, all of them. The lace on mid-level wigs is not good enough. And that is hopefully something that the wig industry will discover and figure out in the next little bit, but as of right now, there's just not a good solution for it. Moving on to the third thing that I think is so important when it comes to finding a good wig, it has to be ethically sourced. This needs to be a whole video of its own because it is such a huge topic and it is so unregulated. The human hair industry is so unregulated right now, it's beyond frustrating. You can take a wig We'll take this one for example. Beautiful, beautiful wig. This is all synthetic hair. But manufacturers could put a couple strands of human hair in it, and they can market it as a human hair wig. Now I know what you're thinking. How can they do that? How can they put a few strands of human hair in it, but the rest be synthetic, but still say that it's a human hair wig? I don't know. I don't know why that's okay. I don't know why that's acceptable. I don't know if companies even follow that. But I have seen a lot of people who buy a wig off of Amazon and say, oh yeah, this wig says it was 100% human hair. And I touch it and I'm like, that is not human hair. It's so frustrating because you see the price difference. You see a human hair wig on Amazon that's $50, but then you see the human hair wigs that I sell and they're like $5,000. And you're like, what's the difference there? The difference is if it's ethically sourced and if it is truly human hair. And then we can go into a whole other topic of the quality of human hair, but again, I'm gonna save all that extra human hair talk for another video because I have a lot to say about it. If I am choosing to wear a wig, most likely I am choosing to wear human hair because personally I love it. I think it looks, feels, works, moves so much better than synthetic hair, and it lasts so much longer. So I have to make sure that it is ethically sourced, and I have to make sure that it's good quality. To go in a little bit more about why I care so much about the ethics behind the human hair, let alone the fact that labeling is just, you can label a wig as anything nowadays. But there are some wigs that are being made with hair that is swept up off the ground at a hair salon. There are wigs being made with hair from dead bodies. There are human hair wigs that are being made from hair that has been cut off of somebody's head and that person is not paid for their hair. The last and final factor that I consider when deciding if a wig is a good wig or not is how it fits your head. So I've got two wigs right here. They are two different tiers. The lower level tier, that's out the window. We don't need to talk about that anymore because you know that's not fitting your head. You know that's gonna fall off unless you bobby pin, tape, glue, whatever. Those are just terrible wigs. I don't recommend them. They're not good wigs. That's what I would call a bad wig, is that lower level tier. But I've got my mid-level wigs and I've got some of my high-level wigs here. I'm gonna talk more about the high-level wigs. I know we haven't even talked much about the mid-level wigs, but I do think it's important you understand these four conditions, these four classifications that I use to decide if a wig is a good wig or a great wig. But yeah, I have these two wigs here. Let's take these two, maybe. They're both brunette. We like to be brunette. This one's curly. No, actually, I don't like that one. Let me get another one. We'll do this one. Okay. So I have a mid-level wig here and I have a high-level wig here. You can already tell, even though this one is brunette, just the shine difference. This is human hair and it does shine, but it's like a healthy hair shine. Synthetic does have a luminous, lustrous shine that not everybody loves, which is great. It's totally good. But the biggest difference for me with these wigs, aside from the color and style and everything, is the cap and how it fits on your head. These are both hand-tied caps, which means that all the hairs are individually knotted onto this material. It's a lot of work Another thing in ethics, you have to make sure that it is manufactured ethically. But these two wigs are built so much different from each other. All of the mid-level wigs, the big names like John Renault, Ellen Villa, Raquel Welch, Gabor, Hair You Wear, Hairdo, who am I forgetting? But those big names, the ones you see on wigs.com, they all look pretty much the same on the inside. Let me show you. Where did it go? I have hair everywhere over here, it's great. So this is one company's wig. And you can see how it's got like that purple lining on the inside. Nothing too, this is a very typical hand-tied cap that you see. And this one is another brand. Very similar in their construction. I have yet to find one of these mid-level wigs that is actually made significantly different from one another. Oh, look at that, this wig is fraying. I was just telling you all about that. Starting to fray, that's so sad. After seeing so many wigs, and when I started my business, I knew I wanted to sell wigs that were different. Every wig shop that I've been to in the state of Utah is only selling these mid-level wigs. Yeah, there's not a lot of variation. You can go to nearly any wig shop here and find the same name brands. What you will not find in Utah, unless you work with me, is Daniel Elaine Folia pieces. Now, like I said, when I started my business, I looked at all the wig name brands. I looked at, their prices, their quality, what people were saying about them. And I have worked with all these wigs before, and I just wanted something different. One of my biggest frustrations with mid-level wigs is that they do have higher prices. Obviously low, medium, high, you're stepping up in price range too. But the mid-level wigs had higher prices, but the quality wasn't matching the price, I guess I could say. My Folia wigs are definitely higher in price up front, but what I have researched, found, discovered is that Folia wigs last so much longer because they are made so much better. Folia wigs are also the only wig brand that actually feels different when it's on your head. You can wear an Ellen Villa, a John Renault, Raquel Welch, any of those you can put on your head. You wouldn't know the difference just by putting it on your head. You would immediately know the difference when you put a Folia wig on your head. And that's why I chose to sell this brand, because it is so different. When I first put on a Folia wig, I put it on and it felt like it was supposed to be on my head. It didn't feel like a foreign object that I had to get used to or adjust or fiddle with. I put it on and it was on. And it just felt like it was supposed to be there. And I had never had that experience with any other wig before. I have this blonde Folia here. She's kind of looking crazy. I've been playing with her and styling her and having fun with it. But this is almost my same hair color. And when I put this one on, I was like, whoa, that is my hair. It felt just like my hair. And again, I knew something was on my head, but it actually felt comfortable to wear on my head. It did not feel like a foreign object. It felt like it was meant to be there. And that is something that absolutely drew me to loving these wigs. And I want to share them with the whole state of Utah, because as of right now, I am the first and only Folia retailer in the state. So please, if you want to try this on, let me know. It will change your life. I have shown these to a lot of my clients who have worn wigs for years and years. And as soon as they put that on, they're like, whoa, that's different. And it's a good different. And I just love to share that with people. I love these wigs so much. These are my Filias. They are my high level. I have yet to find anything that is even comparable to these wigs because they are just incredible. The other wigs didn't have any sort of clips or combs or anything. These Filias do have a comb in the front and the back. At first, I didn't care for those very much, but the more I've worn them, the more I love them. I am going to hook that front comb right underneath my wig cap on the center of my head. Then bring the back comb around and I tuck it underneath the back side of my wig cap. Flip it up, do our little adjusting, and look at that. These curls are a little more curly than I personally prefer, but they are really fun. That's the joy of human hair, is that you can change up the style whatever, however you like. What do you think of me as a brunette? I think it is pretty dark for me, especially my eyebrows. I need some darker eyebrows. But throwing that on, like, it is just so pretty and it is ready to go. It doesn't feel poofy up top. It does not feel like too much hair. It just looks, feels, moves like my own hair. But I love that this has, I love the lace front on this. These high-level wigs, they have a different type of lace where it's all like one material. It's not fibers that are just pushed together. It's not the welded lace. This lace is very different. I love this particular wig because it has a faux scalp. All hand tied, it feels so good. And as I mentioned before, this feels like it's supposed to be on my head. It's very secure. I can do cartwheels with these. This thing is not moving, and that's with no glue, no adhesives, those little combs, but you don't even need to use those combs. And I just love it so much. So all of that to say, Folia wigs are built different. They are the only wig brand that I would classify in that top high level tier. I have tried to find another brand that even competes to it. I have yet to find one. So Folias are forever my favorite. They are the best of the best in my opinion. I do not think they are for everybody though. Lower level wigs, they're out for me. I will never wear one of those. Mid-level wigs, definitely would wear. I think there is a time and a place for them. I mean, I offer that. I see people who are not a good candidate for a Folia wig, which is why I'm grateful for a good mid-level wig. Sometimes it works better for the price point for people. Sometimes somebody needs just a temporary thing and not a daily long-term wear thing. I think the mid-level wigs are great for the right people, just as much as I think that the high-level wigs are amazing for the right people. So let's recap everything we just talked about because it was a lot and I went in a lot of different directions, but let's bring it all back. So I classify wigs on a tier system. We have low-level wigs, mid-level wigs, and high-level wigs. Low-level wigs are going to be your cheap Amazon synthetic $30, wear it one time and be done with it. Those are low-level wigs. Mid-level wigs are a great option for a lot of people. You have better cap construction, you have natural front, natural hairline a lot of the time. Mid-level wigs will give you more options as far as different hair types, different cap constructions, different styles, and even different colors. And then you have your high-level wigs. These are wigs that cost more up front, but will last you longer in the long run. High-level wigs achieve all the goals and all of the characteristics that I personally think a high-level wig should have. Those characteristics are: 1, it has a natural look. 2, it is durable and can withstand daily wear over an extended period of time. 3, it is ethically sourced and manufactured. And 4, it fits your head perfectly. With me, you start with a virtual consultation. That means that you and I meet on a virtual call so that I can understand your needs and what's going to work best for you. If I do offer exactly what you need, then I am happy to get that for you and do an in-person appointment to have you try things on, color match, the rest of the things that we do in an in-person consultation. But if I can't offer what you need, I'm happy to refer you elsewhere. My biggest goal is making sure that you know what you need, know what's out there, and know how to get it. So if you are starting your wig journey and you don't know where to start, go on my calendar, schedule a virtual call, and I would be happy to help you.